Good evening and welcome to SuperScreen News at 6. I am Olamide Onka. President Muhammadu Buhari says his administration's response to the February 19th abduction of 110 students of Government Girls Science and Technical College, Dabchi, Yobe State, was better than the response of the last administration to a similar abduction in Chibok, Borno State. The president said while the federal government under his watch swung into action immediately after the abduction, the last administration looked the other way when the Chibok girls were abducted in 2014. President Buhari disclosed this as a town hall meeting with traditional community leaders and other stakeholders in Damaturu, Yobe State as part of activities lined up for his official visit to the state. Now, the presidency has summoned the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, for questioning over why he breached President Muhammadu Buhari's order to relocate to Benue State following the January 1st killings in the state. Idris, who was received by the president in a private audience, left about 30 minutes after without speaking to pressmen. You will recall that President Buhari had on January 9th ordered the Inspector General to move to Benue State to check the reported cases of attacks on innocent citizens. However, President Buhari, who was on an official visit to Benue State on Monday, in continuation of his tour of troubled areas in the country, was told by Governor Samuel Ortom that the Inspector General refused to obey his directives. And now the Senate has summoned the National Security Advisor, Babagana Monguno, retired, the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, SAN, over a vigilante group recently created by the Kogi State government. The Senate specifically asked its Committee on National Security and Intelligence, Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters to invite the officials with a view to disbanding the unconstitutionally body created. Lawmaker representing Kogi West Senatorial District, Dino Malaye, at the plenary had moved a motion seeking the intervention of the Senate on the legalization of an armed vigilante service group in Kogi State, alleging that it is an attempt to introduce state police through the back door. Now the Senate has lifted its embargo on the confirmation of presidential nomination. This development clears the coast for nominees for the position of Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and the members of the Monetary Policy Committee. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Banking, Rafi Ibrahim, raised the points of order during Tuesday's sitting, urging lawmakers to lift their embargo on confirmation of appointments by President Muhammadu Buhari, which according to him is negatively affecting the economy, a view which was unanimously approved by the lawmakers.
So I want to appeal to our colleagues. We have three requests regarding Central Bank. The board of the Central Bank, the deputy governors, two deputy governors who are also members of MPC, and MPC members who are majorly in the private sector, in various sectors of the economy that are members. MPC is a creation of the CBN Act, which is autonomous. It's not run by the board of Central Bank, but it's very, very important. Each meeting of every 2 months is important for the economy. As it is today, it is already affecting the foreign direct investment to Nigeria. Some foreign portfolio investment are already leaving. Some that are supposed to come are not coming. So we just want to appeal that we take only the aspects that affect the Monetary Policy Committee, which is the independent members and the two deputy governors that are members of MPC, so that the MPC can continue to sit to direct the affair of the financial sector, which is the heart of Nigeria's economy.
A wise man is a man who has to change his mind if he has to.
So I think it is important that we reconsider our stand in respect of our earlier resolution on confirmation and be able to probably make an exception in respect of the issue of MPC. Sometimes a man, first of all, the essence of marriage, or one of the essence of marriage, is to have children. So, and that's why, because of the importance of children in marriage, when a man and his wife is quarreling, they still have children. So, I believe that it is important that we make this exception so that our economy will not collapse and the international community will continue to have confidence in our economy. So I support this motion.
For the 3 years I have stayed here with the privilege of being the Deputy Senate Leader, there was never a time that this Senate has failed or neglected to act in pursuance of that commitment. So in view of this, I think it's a very straightforward motion. I will only seize this opportunity to thank my distinguished colleagues for giving us that very, very rare cooperation in that line.
In his ruling, the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, directed the Senate Committee Chairman on Banking to complete the process of screening in a bid to give the necessary support on the issue.
Confirmation process for the 2 deputy governors and the members of the MPC. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, let me thank the Chairman of Banking for bringing that up. Let me also particularly again acknowledge and thank my colleagues for the statesmanship role you continue to play. This has been a chamber that has always been for the issue of the economy, and for us to do all it takes to continue to ensure we see investment, ease of doing business, and give confidence. And that is what we're doing here. In as much as we continue to defend the institutions and the democracy and the constitution that we've all sworn by, it is time also we look at the priorities and understand what is important. So the Senate Committee, Chairman of Banking, please ensure that you complete that process so you can give the necessary support in this issue of MPC and the Deputy Governor so that the Central Bank continue to play its own role in the economy. I thank you.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says the commission has succeeded in prosecuting 160 electoral offenders. This information was disclosed by the chairman of the commission, Mahmoud Yakubu, during a public hearing on a bill seeking to establish a National Electoral Offences Commission. Details in this report.
At the public hearing, Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Mahmoud Yakubu, said his commission has gotten 60 convictions from the 124 case files received from the Nigerian police on 2015 elections. Yakubu said the establishment of the commission will help INEC focus on handling huge prosecutorial tasks as well as manage time and resources during and after elections.
In spite of the constraints, we have successfully prosecuted some electoral offenders. Arising from the 2015 general elections and subsequent by-elections, we received 124 case files from the Nigeria police. The consideration and passage of this bill, in a sense, is long overdue. At present, INEC is saddled with the responsibility of prosecuting electoral offenders. The objective of the bill is to address issues relating to the coordination and enforcement of all laws in Nigeria relating to electoral offenses.
Stakeholders at the event said the bill will go a long way in providing solutions to electoral offences in line with international best practices, a view corroborated by representatives of all security agencies.
We have observed elections across the country for several years, and one of the most glaring impunities we saw happen in several of the elections in Edo State, in Anambra State, where monies were brought to polling units and openly distributed to voters to secure votes. It's become a culture among candidates and political parties to carry money to polling units.
Certainly, if this is considered and it passes through, it will be a very welcome
very, very welcome development to see that the hallowed chamber of the Senate is really looking towards improving our democracy and improving the electoral process.
Worthy of note is that Clause 21 of the bill, which deals with punishment and incapacities for electoral corrupt practices of undue influences and bribery, prescribes a 10-year jail term for offenders. The bill also has a total of 45 clauses.
And President Muhammadu Buhari has sacked his special advisor on Niger Delta and coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Brigadier General Paul Boro. In a statement by Special Advisor and Media Publicity Femi Adesina, the President also named Charles Tokubo as his replacement. In addition to his sack, President Buhari directed the National Security Advisor, Babagana Monguno, to carry out a full investigation into the activities of the Amnesty Program from 2015 to date. The President said the investigation should focus on the allegations of financial impropriety and other acts that were allegedly detrimental to the objectives of the program. The NYC Presidential Honor Awardees of 2012, 2013, and 2014 has embarked on a peaceful protest in Abuja, alleging that out of 164 core members given presidential awards, only 74 were sent on scholarship. The group added that the presidential awardees are yet to be given automatic employment, alleging that all efforts to annest the scholarship proved abortive, with some students still stranded abroad.
Out of 164 awardees that were awarded, 74 are presently doing their PhD degree. They are done with their masters, but we are here, we've been abandoned. The remaining 90 are crying, and they are calling on the federal government to come to our aid. You may wish to know that every day, every year, the federal government sponsors scholars from Nigeria to overseas for scholarship. And we want to also call on the federal government to come to our aid. A directive that was disregarded should be revisited. We want to call on PTDF, we want to call on NPA, we want to call on NIMASA to heed to the directive given by the president.
We have been on this struggle for over 3 years. Nothing has happened. We are appealing to our president, our father, the father of the country, to please intervene. Our needs are on the ground. Please, he's our father, the father of the country. If his directive will be disregarded, who else will give directive in this country? Who else? Nobody.
Now, ahead of the 2019 general elections, some indigenes of residents of Abonema Wharf community in River State has left the All Progressives Congress, the APC. The defection was made official at a gathering in Diobu, Port Harcourt, blaming their move to the People's Democratic Party on failed leadership on the part of the APC government.
Speaking to journalists in Port Harcourt, some leaders of the decamping group outlined reasons for leaving the All Progressives Congress, APC, and pledged to work with the PDP administration to transform the state. Members of Abonema Wharf, LHE Beach and Diobu at the Port Harcourt local government area accused the APC government of marginalizing them.
Today to denounce my membership from All Progressive Congress. I want to tell you people, I am leaving Egypt to the promised land. And I know I am in the promised land today. The Abonema Wharf community is right here in their numbers defecting. No room for APC in Abonema Wharf. The end of APC in Rivers State is here today.
Because I want to tell Rivers people the reason why we come APC. PDP no give us 10 kobo. PDP no beg us. Now we come back to our party because we don't check the two. The other one good pass, the other one. APC they sleep, they jump about with propaganda. When we can win us for the first time, not lie.
Publicity Secretary of the PDP in the state, Samuel Nwanosike, expressed gratitude to the community for showing interest in the development of the state.
for the very first time in the history of politics in Rivers State, have come together to say, Rivers people, we are here, and we are here for the good of Rivers State. We have identified a leader in Ezeboye Sowike as our body my wolf. Nobody will take us for a ride again.
Some PDP leaders assured the new members of equal opportunities and representation in the party and charged them to ensure full participation in the ongoing continuous voters registration to vote for candidates of their choice.
The West African Examination Council, WAEC, has announced the results of the first series of the new Diet of the West African Senior School Certificate Examination for private candidates in the country. The head of the Nigeria office, Isaac Adenipekun, disclosed the results at the Lagos headquarters of the council in Yaba. Adenipekun said out of the 11,307 candidates that sat for the examination between January 29 and February 12, 2018, 1,937 candidates, representing 17.13%, obtained credits in 5 subjects and above, including English language and mathematics. He also said the results of the 1,021 candidates, representing 9.03% of the total candidature for the examination, are being withheld in connection with various reported cases of examination malpractice. You're watching SuperScreen News at 6. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll take some news from the business world. Stay with us. Welcome back to SuperScreen News at 6, and now for some business stories. Nigeria's inflation rate, as measured by the Consumer Price Index, has dropped from 15.13% in January to 14.33% in the month of February. The National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, disclosed this in its CPI report for February, released in Abuja. The Bureau said the figure showed 13 consecutive reductions in inflation rate since January 2017. According to the NBS, the figure is 0.8% less than the rate recorded in January as 15.13%. On month-on-month basis, it stated that the headline index was 0.79% in February, but the figure was down by 0.01% from the rate recorded in the month of January. And now the Nigerian Bar Association, Ikeja branch, has made good its threat to protest against the Lagos State's Inland Use Charge 2018. The NBA was supported by the National Conscience Party, Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, and Joint Action Committee, amongst others. The group stormed the Lagos State Government Secretariat in Alausa, Ikeja, to protest against the new law, saying it had led to a hike in the levies charged by government on properties. The protest tagged "The Hell Tax Must Go" started from the Lagos State Magistrate Court in Ikeja, from where the protesters marched to the Government House and Lagos State House of Assembly complex in Alausa. The protesters displayed placards, some of which read, "We are not selling houses. Lagos is not only for the rich, and the land use charge increment is wicked and oppressive." Still in business, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, says the federal government is currently developing a solar energy city. Fashola, who disclosed this, did not give details on how the government is going about the initiative. However, he said the solar energy city is being developed in Jigawa State. The minister said President Muhammadu Buhari had earlier in the year stated that his government would rebuild the country's infrastructure, adding that it is the duty of the surveyors to help actualize this target. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll take some foreign stories and some sports stories. Stay with us.